Hey everybody, welcome to Anti-Study Study Club. So happy that you can join me. Do you remember what we do here? Anti-Study Study Club is about no textbooks, no vocabulary lists, no trying to remember vocabulary words. You just watch and I will make everything as understandable as possible. And when you understand, you learn. So really easy for you. Just sit back, watch, and you'll learn some English the simple way. Tonight we're going to talk about a painting from a very famous artist. You know this guy. I think you do. His name is Vincent Van Gogh. He was from the Netherlands, so he was a Dutch man. Most famous for this painting, you know this painting, everyone knows this painting. He painted this when he was living in France. And we're going to talk tonight about another painting that he did while he was living in France. So he moved from Netherlands to France, and for a while he lived in Paris, but he didn't really like Paris. Too rainy, too much rain, too cold. So he moved south. So he went to southern France. He was living in northern France. He moved to southern France. And there he was in a place that had more sun, had warmer weather. This is Arles, France, where he was living. And it's a small city. It's not a big city. It's not a big city like Paris. It's not a big city like London or Beijing or Tokyo or New York. Arles is a smaller city in the south of France. While he was living there, he painted this painting. This painting is called Café Terrace at Night. A Café Terrace is this area, the outside area where you can eat or drink at a cafe. They have tables inside. We can't see them, but they have tables inside. But these are the tables outside, and this area is called the terrace. Some people use the Spanish word patio. You'll hear both. I want to drink coffee on the patio. I want to drink coffee on the terrace. Same idea. So this is Café Terrace at Night. This was painted in 1888. Okay, what is happening in this painting? Well, the first thing we can see is the terrace. And on the terrace we have tables and chairs. Some of these chairs are empty. No one is sitting on these chairs. But some of these chairs have people. So at this table, sitting on the chairs, we have two people. And there's some customers in the back. In the front, no customers. The person working at the cafe is the server or the waiter. You could say either one, server or waiter. So there's a server. He's serving drinks or food. I don't know. I can't see. He's serving food or drinks to the customers in the cafe. So these are empty seats, empty tables. No one is sitting here, but there are a few customers in the cafe. On the street next to the cafe, we have some people walking. If you're walking around in a city, you can use the word pedestrian. A pedestrian is someone who walks. A person that walks is a pedestrian. So if you're walking on the street, you can say there are some pedestrians on the street. But at the end of the street, at the far end of the street, we have a horse. And this horse has a carriage Now we would have a car or a scooter. But in 1888, this is old, right? In 1888, they used horses and carriages. So at the far end of the street, we have a horse. We have some pedestrians walking on the street, and the street is paved with stones. So the street is paved with little rocks, little stones. And we have a light coming from the cafe. We have some lights coming from inside of these buildings. And the light is a warm light, a yellow light. You can see that it's a kind of yellow color. I don't know if you can see, but there's a lantern here that's making the light. So the colors here are very warm yellows and oranges. And then when we go up in the painting, we can see that the night sky, the evening sky, is very blue and cool. Blue is a cool color. We have the cool blue. The tops of these buildings are kind of blues and light blues. There's a green tree on this side of the painting. So above the cafe, above the awning of the cafe, the awning is the part of the cafe that hangs over the building. And this would protect the customers if it's raining, or maybe if it's really sunny one day. This is like a protection for the customers here. This is also an awning. This is a white and red striped awning, but this cafe has a yellow awning. This is the real cafe. So this is the cafe that Vincent Van Gogh painted in 1888. But this is today. So this cafe is still here in Arles, France. If you want to go to Arles, France, you can see this cafe. If you look at this picture, this photograph of the cafe, you can see there are no customers. The whole cafe is empty. There is no one sitting in these seats, no one sitting in these chairs. But in the painting, it's a different time of day. Here it's evening, here it's daytime. And in the cafe, there are some customers sitting in the seats. Okay, one more time. What do we see? We have a cafe. In the cafe, we have a waiter. When we look into the cafe, there's a man standing, and that's the waiter, or you can say server, because he's serving food, he's serving drinks to the customers. This lady is a customer in this picture. This lady is seated at a table that has 3 chairs, but 2 chairs are empty. There's no one sitting in these chairs. So this customer is alone at this table, and the waiter is talking to her. But in the painting, we have a waiter. He is serving some customers, but not all of the tables have customers. Some of these tables are empty. No one is sitting there. Okay. Here's another cafe. This cafe is on the terrace, the outside of the cafe, the terrace or the patio. So here in the Café Terrace, we have a few customers. Some of these tables are empty. There's no customers at these tables. But this table has 2 customers. This table, I think, has 1 customer. And this cafe is totally empty. There are no customers at this cafe. All the tables, all the chairs, all the seats are empty. No one is on this terrace. No one is at this cafe. It looks like a nice cafe. I would like to go to this cafe, but there's no one here. But on this terrace, there are a lot of customers. You could say that this terrace is full of customers. This terrace has no customers. It's empty. But this terrace is full of customers. There's really nowhere to sit. If I wanted to sit here, there's nowhere to sit. If I wanted to sit here, I would have to wait for someone to get up and leave, and then I could sit. So this is a full terrace, full of customers. On this terrace, there are a few customers. This table is empty. There's a table behind that's empty. We see the waiter, we see the server or the waiter, and he's talking to these 3 customers. And maybe he's talking to them about the food, maybe he's talking to them about drinks. This server is serving coffee to this kind of short table. This table's pretty short, but these people are sitting inside at a cafe. They're inside of the cafe. They're not sitting on the terrace. They're not sitting outside. They're sitting inside the cafe, and this server is serving a coffee to the customers. If you go to a cafe at night, maybe you won't drink coffee. Maybe you'll drink some alcohol. Maybe you'll have something like she's having. This is an alcoholic beverage. A beverage is just another word for drink. These people are drinking alcoholic beverages. Another alcoholic beverage is wine. This is white wine. And we also have red wine, of course. I don't drink alcohol. I like to drink something like this. This is sparkling water. So if I go to a cafe at night, maybe some of my friends drink beer or wine or some alcohol. But if I'm going to order a beverage, I will get sparkling water. It looks like maybe she's drinking juice. Some people like to have a soft drink like Coca-Cola or Sprite. Maybe orange juice or something. But usually when I go to a cafe in the daytime, I want some coffee. I want something to wake me up. So I'll drink a coffee drink. This woman is working at a cafe. So she's outside, she's on the terrace, and she has her laptop, and I think she has a coffee here, and she's doing some work. Maybe you like to do work when you go to the cafe. Maybe you like to talk to your friends. Maybe a little of both. But there are lots of beverages you can choose from. If you go to a cafe, you can get alcoholic beverages, or you can get non-alcoholic beverages. Sparkling water, soft drinks, juice. Those are non-alcoholic. They have no alcohol. But wine, something like this, we could say a mixed drink. This is a martini. It's made with vodka, so that's alcohol, right? So you can get an alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage. So back to our picture. We have our server, we have our waiter. He's serving his customers. I don't know what they're drinking. I don't know what they're eating. I can't see it, but there is definitely a waiter serving the customers. Some of these tables have customers. Some of these tables are empty. There's no one sitting at these. On the street next to the cafe, we have some pedestrians. We have some people walking on the street. And at the far end of the street, there's a horse. And the horse is pulling a carriage. The cafe has a nice warm light, and the light is coming from this lantern. It's hard to see maybe, but I'll show you another picture. There's a lantern here that's making this cafe full of warm yellow light. Here we see the pedestrians walking, we see the horse and the carriage at the far end of the street, and they're walking on a cobblestone street. They're walking on a stone street. The street is paved with stones. Above the terrace, we have the awning, and the awning is hanging over the terrace. And then above the awning, we have the tops of buildings and the blue evening sky. And you can see lots of bright stars in the sky. To the right of the picture, there's a little bit of a tree kind of in the right side of this picture. So you can see what Van Gogh does. It has a cool blue color here, blues and greens and kind of purple. Those are cool colors. And then contrast with the cafe, which is a nice warm yellow and orange color. It feels like I want to go there and have a drink, you know, and just sit down. It seems very inviting, very welcoming. So I think that's what Van Gogh was feeling maybe when he painted this. I think he liked this feeling from the cafe. So again, the street here is like this. It's made of stone. These are some stones. The people walking down the road, walking down the street in the city. We use the word pedestrians for these people. If you're walking in a city, you're just walking. You are a pedestrian, a person that is walking. You could use the word walker, like the word server. A server serves, a walker walks. But there is another word, a bigger word we use, which is pedestrian. So lots of pedestrians here. This person is pushing a bicycle, so she's not biking right now, she's walking, so we could say she's a pedestrian too. And they're all walking down the street of their cities. But here in this city we have a crowd of people. This is a crowded city, a lot of people, so many people. And all of these people are walking. They're going to be walking across the street. So these are all pedestrians. So this is crowded with pedestrians. Our painting is not crowded with pedestrians. There's a few people walking. There's a few pedestrians. And then you can see in the back, remember that this is the horse, and the horse is pulling a carriage. We don't see too many of these anymore, but we still have them. This is a modern picture. This is a recent picture. This is in Canada, I believe. And here is a horse and carriage. Maybe these people are visiting the city, and it's kind of a fun way to see the city. But in your city, you probably have scooters and cars and all the modern things. But in 1888, it was horses or walking, not maybe bicycle, I guess. Okay, so remember I was telling you about the light in the cafe. So that's called a lantern. You could call this a lantern. You could say a lamp. You could say a light. There's lots of words you could use for this, but this is electric. Maybe this is using oil or something to make the flame. I don't know what they were using in 1888. Maybe it was gas. But in this cafe, here's our lantern. There's lots of different lights here. You can probably see it better if you look at the drawing. Van Gogh made a drawing before he made the painting, and you can really see that lantern here. So in the painting, Van Gogh, that's a closer look here. Van Gogh shows us the lantern, and the lantern has a nice yellow light to it. You can say it's a warm light because the colors are like yellows and oranges, you know, that's a warm color. These are also lanterns. These are lanterns. This was in Vietnam. Have you been to Vietnam? But yeah, these are some lanterns that I saw in Vietnam. I took a picture. Okay, So warm colors, yellows, oranges, the colors of autumn, when the trees are yellow and orange, that's a kind of warm color. And then cool colors are going to be these kind of blues and purples. And the sky here is a nice cool color. The sky here is really cool. So Van Gogh kind of contrasts in this painting. You have the cool colors of the evening sky and the buildings, and then the warm colors from the cafe and these other buildings. Van Gogh liked to paint stars. There's lots of, the stars here are very bright, and if you look at some other paintings Van Gogh did, I mean, you know that he really liked to look at the sky and look at the bright stars in the sky. Of course, his most famous painting is Starry Night, so the stars are very bright, and the moon. He also painted this one in France. Maybe you can see stars where you live. I live in a city, so if I look outside, I can't see any stars, or very few, maybe a few stars, maybe a few, but not too many stars. Okay, so now you should understand everything I'm saying. Let's talk about it again. What's happening in this painting? Well, Van Gogh shows us a cafe, and this is the terrace of a cafe, the outside of a cafe. And on the terrace, we have tables and chairs. The tables closest to us are empty. There's no one sitting in these tables and chairs. But if you go behind those, if you go into the cafe further, you see a server, and he is serving customers. So some of these tables do have customers. The cafe is not full. There are some customers in this cafe. But the cafe is also not empty, right? There are some customers here. And the server is serving these customers. Next to the cafe, we have the street. And this is a cobblestone street. And walking on this cobblestone street, we have some pedestrians. At the far end of the street, we have the horse and carriage. The cafe is lit with a yellow lantern. So the color in this part of the picture is a nice, bright, warm yellow. The lantern is giving this warm yellow light. And you can see it in the cafe and on the awning. Above the awning, we have the evening sky. The evening sky is a cool blue with bright stars. The tops of the buildings, the sky, the tree, the other buildings across the street. These are all cool colors. And Van Gogh contrasts the warmth of the cafe with the cool evening sky. I love this painting. I think this painting is really beautiful. And when I look at this painting, I really want to go to this cafe. It makes me want to have a seat in one of these empty chairs, enjoy the beautiful evening here in France. Well, I hope you liked this painting. I really love Van Gogh's work. I love how he often has these kind of cool and warm contrasts in his work. There's a reason why he's the most famous painter in the world, I think. He's still very popular. All right, guys, well, thank you so much for watching this Anti-Study Study Club. I hope you understood most of that. Remember, if you didn't understand everything, that's okay, don't worry. Keep watching, because you're going to hear more and more English. And the more you hear and the more you just watch and listen, the more you're going to start to understand. My job is to help you understand the language I'm speaking. So keep listening, keep watching. I'll see you later. Thanks so much for joining me at the Anti-Study Study Club. I'm David from Core Language. See you soon, everybody. Hey, welcome to Anti-Study Study Club. I'm your host. Am I your host? Hey. Dave from Core Language, that's me. Hey, welcome back.